Welcome. This is the first product catalog, I want to say branch of the Blank Canvas project, which is a project by Plinko Solutions focused on bridging accessibility around AI and no-code automation, specifically for the day-to-day life. And this is a really interesting series. I'm pretty much breaking down what is web scraping 101. If you've never heard of it before, this is the place to be. What are the two kind of core pillars it's used for? So research versus sales outreach. Those kind of two pillars. And then pretty much laying the groundwork for it's going to be a long and interesting series. So without further ado, let's dive into it. I should mention all the resources, everything I'm sharing throughout this little overview video will all be inside of a playlist with all the other videos related specifically to this series. So stay tuned for that. And you'll be able to download everything. Everything's in the description. So yeah, thank you for joining me for the ride. If you're curious more about the Blank Canvas project as well, that'll be linked below. Feel free to check out those overview videos. Okay, ado aside, let's dive into it. So, what is web scraping? The best way to describe it, it's a practice that has existed for decades, truly, that basically is pulling information that either exists online on websites, social media profiles, all sorts of different data sources, which we'll dive into. And then what we're doing is we're pulling that information, and instead of using scripting, so instead of using Python and Panda and all that fun stuff, we are using purely no-code tools, which I'll showcase in a bit, processing all of that fun stuff, creating a presentation layer for the output, and doing it all, running the free plans as well. So you won't have to spend a dime. You'll be able to access all of this as you go. So to begin, why even bother scraping to begin with? So one, it is one of the most efficient forms of data extraction. So right now, a lot of businesses, a lot of people will spend hours researching, digging, kind of trying to find these signals, if you will, of pain points, I would say signals for information purposes, they would look through websites, try and wrap their heads around it. They read through all the images, all the different presentations that a company has. What this practice does is allows you to really speed track that, which is why it's kind of the 101 great place to start. I should note before diving into any of this, every company, every website has their own kind of guardrails towards what you're allowed to search. For example, with Upwork or any other job site, truly, you can only pull information from their page to an extent, right? To give basically balance the unfair advantage. Pulling job feeds and all that is against their guidelines. So keep that in mind. You risk, in that case, losing your account, running into some, data and legal issues down the line if you continue to not listen and use this to take an advantage. So really advising against that. What I'll be kind of highlighting is kind of the best practices, as well as kind of how to wrap your head around all of it. So what is scraping? Let's zoom out a little bit before diving into all of this fun, crazy stuff and go really, really simple. So when we're interacting with a website, right, we have a user, they send a question, which is called a query, either through Google search engine or while they're on the actual page itself, they're really just searching throughout the UI, which is called the front end, right? So the front-facing material of a website or an application. And then on the back end, all this business logic actually takes place, which is basically deciding what they show you, what you can access, all that fun stuff. And of course, what we don't see is the database. So the back end, everything going on in terms of storage, memory, all that is really on the development side of things, which I won't touch upon too much today. But that's pretty much scraping 101 is what we're doing is we're basically sending a question to the page being like, hey, what is happening here? What is going on? And the way that's been done is by pulling the HTML and the CSS, which essentially is all the code, all of the actual blocks that build the website itself. So, for example, take you over to this just to show you what it looks like. So, whenever I go to any web page and I hit inspect, what I'm able to then access is essentially all of this HTML. I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Doesn't allow me to zoom in on the terminal. But you get to see kind of the HTML. The CSS, I can show you an example of that without digging too deep, is really all of the styling and all the color, and how the images kind of sit, and all that fun stuff. Again, not important. Looks overwhelming if I dive deeper into it. But that's basically how that works. So by using no code, we're able to kind of query that and pull that information. There's a few different tools and different approaches to doing it. But before I dive into the how, I just want to walk a bit through the why and the brain behind it. Zoom out a little bit. This kind of I'm giving a bit of an overview for this series, right? There's a number of approaches. The core way that I kind of like to split it up is these two different core approaches, these two core pillars. So whenever somebody picks up a scraping tool, they have one of two intents. The first intent is typically if they are trying to conduct research and figure out basically who their ideal customer persona is, or ideal client persona, the person they want to reach out to. They're trying to basically field as much market research and kind of social media presence and dialogue that's happening that might be related or interesting to this ideal person. That's the first approach. Now say, the second approach, we actually know who that person is, but we want to find out what they're into. What are they interested in? So it's kind of the flip that happens, where now we're going and we're digging down these personalization branches, which basically figures out what is related to this set individual. For all sake and purposes, I'm splitting these up into different videos. So the first approach typically deploys the social media. So we'll first talk about the Twitter side. Then I'll go into the YouTube and then Reddit. That fields as much market research and also shows you how I'm applying that in real time. And then the second approach is actually building an email campaign and a DM campaign by deploying that second pillar and actually, I don't want to say personalize again, but actually tailoring what my message is to the person I'm talking to, which is really key. So just to reiterate one more time, kind of go through it. There's all these different use cases. Typically, scraping has its most utility in marketing, right? We say it's sales, but realistically, it's looking at copy, it's looking at how information is presented, which is very much aligned with marketing, right? So what that allows us to do is we're now empowered through volume of data to get a better handle on lead generation, content research, competitive analysis, and also understanding what are patterns, trends that are happening right now. The way that we kind of do that is we begin by selecting a data source, which we'll do in the next video. From there, we'll choose a scraper, which I'll walk you guys through. There's a number of them on the market. There's actually a whole marketplace dedicated to them. And then showing you how to run it, how to use it, how to format that data, and how to make use of it. I also have all of the links, all of the details, a full guide that you can go ahead and download, and everything will be linked here as well. It's going to be a really exciting series. I'll do my best to keep it nice, concise, to the shot. Make sure that just bring the screen back, that you get the 80-20, essentially. If you're a fan of the Blank Canvas project, you'll see this is my style, where I'll pretty much give you that 80% overview and then do 20% of the effort so you see kind of the true output. And then from there, cut through the noise, cut through all the yapping, if you will, that currently exists on the market, all this different jargon, and keeping it stupid simple and showing you what you can do with it. Really excited. Stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one.